we get into these conversations just like we're at now. We're getting into these conversations, and it's like, why not just bring you in with us so we can?
Yeah.
Hi, Beanbeauties. This is part 2 of our 2-part series of our Tres Amigas Table Talk series with the topic, how do you prioritize your luxury spending? So if you're catching this video first, please don't forget to go find the first video. I will have it linked in the description box for you, for your convenience. Thank you. Enjoy.
Hi, Beanbeauties, Dita Bean here. How you doing today? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Guess what I have? I have 2 of my favorite people here. Yay! To my right is
Laura the Camel Chica.
To my left is
Delene with Yoshi Lex.
and we are filming our Tres Amigas Table Talk series, which is on Thursdays. So if you're just now hearing about this, this means that you have not been watching my community posts. You have not been watching any of my little snippets because I've been talking all about it. You haven't been watching my lives, nothing. But we started a series probably a month ago, and this time it's my turn to host. And what the series is that we're just talking about anything and everything that has to do with shopping, luxury,
And
travel, anything that has to do with stuff that you don't really need but you enjoy in your life.
Yeah.
Right? That's basically what we're doing. Yeah. So the first episode was on Laura's channel, which her channel is called
Laura the Camel Chica.
and then she also had a bonus episode the following week. Then the third week we had it on
Delene, Yoshi Lex.
So this time, this video is going to be on mine. And we also put in on October the 5th, we had a live. So if you missed our live, please go watch it. And we had a guest, Melissa's Corner was on there with us, okay? So if you are here to find out what we're going to talk about today, then come on back in a bit.
Yes.
And today we're going to be talking about how do we strategize our purchases. And it can be a various topics of how you go about your thinking process of how you're buying your luxury products or any products really that you do. So that's what we're going to do here, and we're all going to take turns, and then we'll probably talk over each other and all that fun stuff, but that's what we're going to do. That's what we're going to do today.
But it was to where in the very, very beginning, when I first got into luxury, when I first started to buy the Louis Vuitton handbags, when I stepped it up from Gucci, right, I would have to sell. I sold a few of my handbags in order to then buy like my first Louis Vuitton handbag, for me to buy my first Louis Vuitton handbag. And I liked it better that way sometimes because I didn't have a lot in my collection and I used them.
Yeah.
I used those handbags. So I love the handbags that I had, and I got my good run with it, and then I sold them to then buy a new one. And so I had a smaller collection, and I really rotated them more.
Right.
But once you dip your toes into the big luxury brands, right, then you're
it's hard to
hooked.
Yeah,
You're addicted. You
Yeah.
are in trouble, and it's like a drug. You are addicted. So when I got my first Chanel, I wanted more.
Oh,
right, like I
yeah.
wanted more. So I was like, oh my God, I love this bag. So the first one I bought like with my bonus, and so I bought that one. After that, I wanted more. And the thing with Chanel, you know, as the collections come out, you gotta be quick. If you want that one, you need to hurry up and get it, because then it's gonna go. And then your essay is like, I only got one. And you're on a list, you know, so you're put on a list.
So you have to be
and
ready.
You have to be ready, and you have to have the funds, right? Or you have to have the available credit or whatever. And so you have to act fast, and you have to build the connections at Neiman's, at Nordstrom's, at Berger's, wherever it is that carries it, and you need to be able to have like the funds for it. But at the beginning, when I was in a different role, I wasn't bonusing and wasn't making as much. I was making really good money, but not as much as I am now. To where I didn't have an easy $5,000 or $4,000 that I can just drop. Right? Because you always want to keep a certain amount in that emergency fund. I don't want it to drop below the amount. And so then they were like, oh no, Laura, we have, a 12-month interest-free payment plan.
Oh.
Saks does.
Uh-huh.
Okay, and so did Neiman's.
Oh yeah, that's how I got my watch.
So I was like, what? You're telling me I can pay this bag in I can get a Chanel bag and pay this bag in 6 months. So the Chanel that my husband bought me when he got deployed, I found the handbag and he was like, okay, if you want it, then, because I half-assed, I'll admit, I half-assed jokingly said, when he said, I'm gonna do one more towards my last hurrah, right? And I was like, because we were only married like not even a year when he got deployed. And so I was like, okay, I jokingly said, okay, well, I want a Chanel bag. You take this tour, then I want a Chanel bag. And he was like, well, okay, whatever. But I hadn't even bothered to go in to look any. So, but I ended up buying one. That's when Isabel was like, okay. She goes, if you want, we actually have it where you can pay it within 6 months, right?
Wow, okay.
And I was like, wow, I didn't know that you could do this, interest free. And so that's how I ended up getting the first one. To where, so those payment plans that these big retailers have, that makes it affordable for you to do it.
Gotcha.
And at the time, Chanel participated in it. They don't anymore.
Oh.
They pulled out of Saks and Neiman's they would allow you to use it with your Saks card, but it was like a big luxury, kind of a separate account.
Right.
And so then you could buy, because like Saks has Cartier, so a big ticket item, whether it was jewelry or whatever, and it had to be over like $2,000.
Okay.
Yes.
So it had to be over a
I know
specific
Saks
amount.
had that because
Yeah.
I bought a watch for like $5.
Yeah, exactly. And so that was back, so back in like 2019, that's how I started to get a few of them, was because I had opened up the account. I had an account at Saks and I had an account at Neiman's, to where it was fun, those big major purchases of those Chanel bags. And so when they would do the release, right, like Chanel would do the release and they would come out, I'm like, okay, I want that bag. And I would tell say, okay, put it on my major purchase account or whatever. And then, so this way I could get it and not lose it.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And so it would be interest free.
Okay.
And so then, and sometimes it would be for like a year, but you're making a freaking $300, $400, like a car payment, like
Yeah,
a month.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so then after like a few months, I was like, okay, let me just pay this, this sucker
rest,
off,
yeah.
because
Then you don't have to worry
I
about
don't
it.
have to worry about
Yeah.
it. But that also is how some people that's how I did it. And so there's a lot of people that will afford to buy these luxury purchases in that manner, right? So it's not just because a lot of people, I think, make you think that they can easily drop $6,000, $7,000,
but
it's because a lot of these big retailers allowed at the time for you to be able to purchase Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Fendi, all of these big brands, because I was able to do them like that. And so yeah.
Man, I missed out. I started too
I've
late.
only done a watch.
No, they would do watches. Because,
And that was at Saks.
and that's at Saks. And Neiman's actually can pull in VCA. So like if you want Van Cleef, like if you want certain brands, they can pull them in. But it's a matter of your store having it or whether they can get that item in for you, because they'll have their own little boutiques, like ours has like a Cartier in it, right? So any big ticket item like that, they had it to where you could do that. But
not anymore.
Now they've released these design houses have now said we're not participating in that. And so I think right now the only ones maybe possibly left. Every now and then you might be able to get Louis Vuitton, but I don't think so anymore. But you could do maybe like, I don't know, maybe a YSL or a Fendi. I know a Fendi one I did a few years ago. But that's how I would it was easy to get it, especially when it was a hot item.
When it was a hot,
limited
right,
edition,
yeah.
and you wanted it, you could easily put it on one of those major purchase accounts or whatever, where it was interest free for 6 months or 12 months, and you were able to at least get it and then do the payments. So that was like one of the main things that I did. And then of course, like when we do fashion file, I mean, sometimes I take advantage of like that layaway, because then it's interest free. And then if I do, then I'm calling my little fashion file person in either California or New York, and I'm texting them and I'm like, send me pics. Send me more pics than what you have online.
Yeah.
So this way I can make sure that this is something I want before I, put it on layaway and then, do the payments or whatever, however many days, 45 days, whatever it is that they give you and stuff like that. They could, if you want a video, I'm sure, I always just tell them to send me like pictures because I want them to zoom in on certain
And see, I never
things.
knew that. I never knew that you could do that, because I thought, it's all in chance. It's all in chance. But you know, I would do that, you know.
Yeah.
Even on a small purchase, like I need more pictures. I need more pictures,
because you just never know.
Yeah, because they don't give you all the angles, and they don't show you the insides. All those sites don't really show you a good inside picture.
Yeah.
You know, I do the real a lot. I like to get a lot of the stuff on the real. That's how. Probably by this time, I have a Fendi video. I got my first Fendi,
I saw that video. Yeah, it's already released.
Yes, I got my first Fendi, and that's how I did it. It was on the real, and but I used my Sezo card on the real,
nice.
and but it was a minimal purchase. But I did go through the pictures and look and wait on it all the time. But
And it looked good
thank
from the
you,
video.
thank you. And I was gonna bring it today, and I completely forgot about it.
I was gonna ask you to bring
Oh,
it.
you should have.
I just assumed. I don't know. You know.
Well, you know what? I was going to bring it, and then whenever you had said to bring my 26, I grabbed that and then completely forgot. I never knew. That was the thing. Is like even when I first started rebuying handbags, I never knew like the real existed, the fashion file existed. I didn't know until I started watching
Fashion
YouTube.
file, I did because Dillard's carries resale.
Right.
And I bought my watercolor Speedy on there, and when I opened the bag, it said fashion file.
Oh wow.
So I was
So
like,
you're like, what is fashion file?
yeah. So I looked it up. You know, I went online and I looked it up, and it was popping up.
I didn't know about fashion file either until I watched a YouTube video and somebody talked about it, and I was like, oh wow, I was like, what? There's a site, and so that's how I found out about that one. I think the real. Maybe I bought something. Somehow I found out about them. Maybe it was through a commercial or something like that, and then I probably bought something from them. And I think once you buy something, and then you have and in your city you have an actual real advisor or consultant or whatever. I forgot what mine calls herself.
Yeah.
They'll reach out to you and say, hey, you want something to consign? And so that's how I now have a dedicated real consultant. She comes to the house and picks up
your stuff
a
that you
bunch
want
of
to
stuff,
sell.
and then she comes, she picks up and she ships it.
Do you know the
I
real?
don't have to mess with it.
The real is now taking Coach and Judy and Burke. So Judy and Burke is on the real, and so is Coach. So I was like, oh my god! And they actually have really good prices on there too. And they're like a lot of times they're the unique bags. From the past. So that's another thing too, that it's hard. Is I'm going on there like to look for the bigger ticket items, and I'm like, oh, I haven't seen that, Judy. I need that, Judy. I haven't bought one yet from there, but I'm like,
they're doing Kate Spade too, because I always have to ask her, like, send me your new list of what you're taking, because sometimes they have to they'll update it or whatever. I had some old Michael Kors watches sitting in my thing, and so I was like, I saw that they were, on the list, and I was like, let me send these suckers. I'm never gonna wear them.
Nice.
So, but it just depends. But that's a good way of being able to afford.
Next time she comes, I'm gonna come and bring my stuff. Tell her, here, look at these.
Full of Coach bags
that you need to do.
Make something. That's the thing, is to make something off.
Because if you're not going to use them, they're just sitting there.
Right.
And I was just gonna put it on like one of my bill, because when we're retired, I just want to get rid of stuff.
Yeah.
And
she's getting rid of stuff for retirement, and I'm gathering.
You're still collecting.
I'm gathering stuff for
we're
retirement.
gonna move eventually.
Yeah. We're not moving.
I've been throwing things. I gave a lot of things to Goodwill, like comforters and just a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. Actually, we are purging too, and there's a we're all in our 50s. We're in the club. We're in the club. So some of the stuff that we talk about has to talk about the club, the stuff that we started the club, because your frame of mind changes. That's the other thing too, is that probably 5 years ago, I guess, is probably really when we got our first big hump of what I say a pay raise. And it wasn't a pay raise from our bosses or anything. It was because our children moved left home. That, we're empty nesters now. So a lot of that is probably residual too, is that I have a very different situation. We have different situations than Lada's did, is the fact that we have children
and grandchildren,
and so your frame of mind kind of is different. Your funds go different. I mean, everything was about the kids. Did I buy myself anything new for those 30 years, 25 years that they were at home? No. I mean, it was like I was the last one to be thought of, because that's how I wanted it, So
and most moms, I think, that's
If
Yes.
I paid more, no lie, if I had to pay more than $10 at Walmart, Kmart,
Yeah,
whatever,
yeah.
for a purse, for a handbag, a purse, I would like just be so mad because I'm like, I am not paying because that sucker, you know, the kids will throw it around, you know, drag it around the house. Hey mom, you know, I want to go to the ice cream, you know, whatever, you know, and that's just how it was. So it wasn't until now that I'm 55 now, and so in Texas, or I don't know if it's nationally, your children, they go to college or whatever it is, that they can be on your health insurance till they're 26. So you're carrying that load of them till then, and so that's a lot of money that we have to do.
It is a lot of money.
So until they you know graduated off of that, we didn't have that luxury of spending it on us, you know, on us.
Yes.
So
and thank you for bringing that up, because that was one of my other points, was that, yeah, that's the other way that I can strategize my purchases depending on what I make, but we never were able to have children, right? So that gives us a lot of extra cushion
yeah,
to be able to have these accounts where I fund for certain things, and I don't have to really think about, okay, you know what, I can only spend this because I have to buy cleats or something for my son, or right, because they're involved in sports
camp
and
is
things
coming
like that,
up,
camp or
yes,
whatever, and then or having to carry additional insurance because of, you know, that I'm having to pay for. So we have that flexibility for us, but like Dee Dee says, we're over 50, and like they're thinking of retirement. My husband is 53 and he's double retired, right? So he retired from the military, and then he retired from the financial insurance industry where he was. So he's at home, and so I'm like, well, Chihuahua, I want to be at home. I want to be at home too, right? Like, can I like early retire? And so I think the same thing too is like, I don't need this many, like, I want to have so many bags, but one, like I've said, I don't want to go over a certain limit. I personally, there's only 52 weeks in the year.
yeah,
I do not like to have more bags than that because I rotate them weekly, right? So I'm mindful of that, to where I don't want to have a big collection, because I did like the fact when I didn't have as many and I really used them. I used the bags, you know. And so now it's to the point where I'm like, I want certain ones I know that I really love and I have in my collection that I want to use them. And I don't want to have too many. And then also, because I don't have children, who the hell is going to get all of this crap that I have?
me. Not that I wish you any ill will, but me.
But we start.
But we're older than her.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we are.
Wait a minute here.
But we think, but like you say, as we get older and we're over 50, our mindset does change.
Yes.
And we think of things differently. And like, as I, you know, before we started to film, like I was telling the girls, you know, my husband lost his parents on the same day. And when you are dealt a double blow like that, and you have to deal with the estate, and you're having to deal with everything, and people wanting this and wanting that, and you know, all of that mess, that I feel like I really hope to God that I can sell everything or give out
before
be able to live long enough to then give certain people certain things. Right? Because you think of things differently and having things prepared, and to where it's like, really, why do we really need? I'm not going to need all these handbags when I'm 70 years old if I can live that long. You know.
Well, and that's why.
That too.
And
so,
see, and that's why, like, I started the little book that I have that tries to keep track of what I have and everything like that. And I also put in there, these are the places you can go legitimately sell the collection to. You know, either I do have somebody that for the higher end, I have somebody said, hey, this person, if they're still around, contact this person. If not, then use these companies, the Real, Fashion File, whatever, do that. So that they know where to go, and not, you know, because they don't know, you know, my kids don't know that, because even a Junie, you know, they know it's a Junie and Burke, they don't know how much it's cost. Even a Coach, they don't know how much. They may know how much it costs, but they don't know how much you paid for it, or
how much it
anything
could
like
be
that.
worth now.
Or how much
How
the
much it could be
vintage.
worth
I
now.
have a lot of vintage Coaches and Genies, and they are worth more, you know, more than the new bag, you know. So I try to keep track of that, and I tell them, I said, well, first of all, we tell them we're traveling and we're living our lives, and that's their inheritance. So they're gonna get whatever's left over, you know. So
Which
what you're
is
gonna,
nada.
which is my jewelry.
We're spending as much as we can.
Which is my jewelry and the bags, you know, and that's it, you know. So do with it what you want.
Yeah.
So don't expect any inheritance first. No, we're gonna take advantage. Yes, we are taking advantage of the reverse mortgage.
Yeah.
We actually, when we went to Cancun, the people who were staying next to us, they were an elderly couple, and she came over and talked to us all about it. She had just did it, and she said, you know what, it's the most freeing thing, you know, and we talked about everything, and I was like, because my attitude was that we were going to give it to the kids. The kids don't want our house. They don't want to live in our neighborhood. They don't want to be where they grew up, you know? And I was like, okay, then why am I gonna be sitting here, you know, be tight with the money when we could reverse mortgage and live our lives and you know, travel is something that we never got to do. So then our parents died. My mom died and his dad died when they were very young. His dad was 55. Okay. Yes, 55.
Because when we get to the 50s, we're like, oh, that's young.
Yeah, that's young.
That's young.
Which is why the 55 is a big monument for my husband, you know. And my mom died when she was 62. She's like a month less of being 63. So they both wanted to travel, and they kept saying, well, when we retire, you know. And we vowed after, because my mom was the second to pass, and we vowed to say, you know what, we're not going to wait. We're not going to wait. We're going to do it now, you know, and we're going to travel, and we're going to save, and that becomes your priority. So it's like, what is your priority? You know, because your priority could be different.
Yeah, everybody's is different.
See, I don't want to travel too much because to me, not having my room, my bed, it's a lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, if I don't mind going to visit my brother in Dallas or my father in New Jersey, and maybe going back to Okinawa and seeing there. I want to visit Paris because I heard it was beautiful over there, and I want to see, you know, I want to visit the shops and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm not big on just traveling and staying away from my home too long. You know, I just think I would miss it. So I'm just that type of person.
Yeah.
You know.
I can understand that.
Yeah. And that's just what I like. I'm actually a homebody. Like, once I get home, I want to stay home and I want to relax and watch TV and that's what my husband and I love to do. His brother and his brother's wife is completely the opposite from us. But that's just us. So
I think the reason why we like to travel, and particularly the cruising, why we like that is that you're completely unplugged. Like, my husband's work cannot get him there because there's no service. You know, there's, you know, unless you pay for it, and he says, I'm not paying for it. If you want to get a hold of me, you can pay for it, you know. And he can only completely relax when he gets to there. Otherwise, there's that. In Spanish, it's coming in my head.
Dependencia.
Yes, that. There's that. You know, see, I can hear it. I can hear it clearly in my head. I just can't say it.
See, with us, we go to our condo in Port A, and that's where we kind of
get to unwind.
There's no housework. There's nothing to worry about, but just what's right there. And we will go out to eat. We'll just enjoy ourselves and hang out and go to the beach, and we have our dogs, and that's what I like.
Yeah, the crazy Cajun.
Yeah.
I wish that, if we had something like that, I think it probably would be different.
That's what I really like. And sometimes, some days, you know, we just want to relax in the condo, or just go to the pool there and, you know, just go out to eat and come back. That's it. And sometimes we'll go to maybe one of the bars, and it's not really a bar anymore, we don't go, but we'll go to a place where we can have something to drink and just, you know, just relax and watch people or whatever.
So I think that's where we end up kind of like change, like as we get older, right? We start to strategize a lot of these purchases where we're trying to fund some luxury handbags, but then there's other priorities that we're also having to strategize as far as purchases for things that we do want to do.
Right.
As far as like trips or when you decompress and you unplug and you go to like your condo.
Yeah, because
kind
when
of
we
thing.
go out there, even staying the one weekend, we're spending $500
Right,
going out to
right,
eat,
yes,
right.
you know,
yes.
and
The groceries that you did
Yeah,
buy to, you know, to
groceries.
keep you over
Yeah.
there, you know, exactly, yeah. Yeah, so that's where we're kind of at too, is where he's already retired, and I'm thinking, okay, if I want to retire earlier, then I need to then cut back on certain things, and especially like, am I satisfied with certain bags that I have in my collection to where, okay, I'm good with these I know I will eventually like pretty much
Yes.
keep, and
Yeah.
others I might, you know, sell here and there, or maybe buy a few more, but the time will come, right, where I'm not gonna, I know I'm not going to be buying
Right.
as much, and I'm kind of the same way as like, I'm kind of getting the certain things that I do want now, so this way I have them, and this way I'm like, okay, you know what, I'm good, I don't really need to
Right.
get any
Yeah.
more, and just
Mhm.
you know, figuring out how we pay for those purchases, or I should say, as like, guys, I pay for those purchases
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
I do want to treat myself, because that's our reward, especially
It is.
you know, like when you've sold a house, you know, and you know, from the money that you make there, you treat yourself on certain
Treat
things,
myself
yeah,
on
Yeah.
or like
Yeah.
or our you know, bonuses, or whether you aren't getting just a
Yeah.
regular paycheck, but you've allotted so much to where you're able to fund whatever it is that we like,
Yeah.
whether it is a vacation, or whether it is a handbag, or whatever, a car. There's just certain things that, you know,
Yeah.
that we do to strategize. But yeah, all of that, you know, takes into consideration as to how we do strategize our purchases, and what we
Yeah.
prioritize
And
for
what we
certain
are
things.
in life at
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
time.
Where you're
Yeah.
where you're at.
Yes, exactly.
And that's a big deal to me now that I've hit this age, and my husband's going to retire, and we're just our thinking. My thinking is so different right now.
Yes.
It's so different, and it kind of freaks me out a little bit, because I was always like, I love running around, I love buying things, I love going shopping, you know, and all these things. And now it's kind of starting to
Yeah.
where it's starting to slow down a little bit, but I still enjoy it.
Yeah.
But I don't know, it's just my thinking's starting to change.
Yeah.
So
No, you're right. I'm there with you too.
even though if I can go to Louis Vuitton and go, oh my God, I want that. Am I gonna always buy it now? No. It's
Yeah.
I'm like, nope.
Yes, and that's where
I got
we
a
do-
Speedy.
Yes, and that's where sometimes too we have to then limit ourselves, because we get caught up with the things that we're
Yeah.
watching,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
you're like, oh God, that looks so pretty too,
that's
and I
what's
want
so
that,
hard.
and
Yeah.
then, yes, and then it's really like, you know what? No, I don't need that, or you start to see people unbox certain things, and especially when they're in our age, and I'm like, girl, I know that purse is not gonna work for you. It's not gonna work for you. And sure enough, they turn around, and like within a few months later, oh yeah, the bag, it didn't work for me, whatever, blah, blah. I'm like, I knew it, because we already have, we know what works. It might be cute. That little Chanel bag was cute as all get out, but I was
Exactly.
like, yeah, there's no way that it'll eventually work for your lifestyle or whatever. But we get caught up,
Yeah.
and then that's where we've learned, we learn these mistakes. We strategize this purchase, we set the money aside for it, and then if we didn't do enough research on it or whatever, and we buy it, and they're like, this thing sure as hell didn't work out, you know.
And where are we gonna
then-
go
yeah.
all the time?
Yeah.
You know, as we get older and we don't have
Yeah.
a job, where are we going?
Exactly.
Right.
I mean,
To
we're
the
to
doctor's office.
doctor's office. I mean, where are we going besides
Exactly.
the fact that when we go? Because now that I've become a real estate agent, yeah, I do go out to lunch with my friends a lot, but I'm not the type to like take all my expensive bags and just
Yeah.
To
just
friends'
use
lunch.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will use my coaches because I don't want to be like
Flaunting.
flaunting. It's
Yeah.
just I'm just not like that.
Yeah.
I feel uncomfortable.
Doing
Now they know some of the stuff I have, but that's it.
Yeah.
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 No, totally get it.
Well, if they watch your channel, then they
Yeah.
know they know more, but
yeah.
they don't. Yeah.
I think
some
there's only a
yes.
couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and there's some friends like that there's only like none of my family knows that I do this. I've not told anybody.
Yeah.
There's only a few friends that happen to have found out because like they follow me on Instagram. But it's not something that when we do, and they like handbags, but when we do get together, this is my time with you.
Right.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
don't chat
yeah.
about it. You know
And
what
it's
I mean?
awkward talking about, I got this for myself, I
Yeah.
got this for myself,
Yeah.
you know, and,
Yeah.
and the shelf that they see with all your bags and
Yeah.
your stuff, and it's like,
Yeah.
Well, I have my hometown BFF, the one that's in town with this, is that at first she was like, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, you have certain things that you like too.
Yeah.
You know, you have your gardening, you have your whatever. You know, sometimes it's expensive, you know, But slowly and surely, she's like, oh, hey, look. Now she's starting to talk about bags, you know, because she's like, hey, but it was awkward at first. It was very awkward.
And my brothers are like, oh my God, you're buying another bag. I mean, they're
How can
because
you
they're
do so
not
many?
that type of person.
Right, yeah.
They're very like mindful of their money, even though if you know, my oldest brother is he's actually a professor, you know, at SMU. You know, I'm pretty sure he makes decent money. And then my youngest brother makes, you know, he's got a lot of money, and he's still you know, he's very tight, you know, and I'm like. But he makes 3 to 4 times more than than us.
Yeah.
But of course, he only has one kid to worry about too. We got like 4, and then our grandchild. Now I got 2 grandchild, and I got the significant others of each one.
Yes. Oh.
Like,
we don't even want to talk about Christmas
I'm
coming up.
Yeah, I was saying about how like your brother said, you know, like, oh my God, you're spending another bag, you know, or like when we're with your friends, some of them are not into that or whatever. And so it's funny because now that when my husband and I met, he's like, I would have never, he goes, it's a shame that I know about these dang brands, you know. He goes, I never knew about any of this, you know, prior to me, you know, me getting married to you. He goes, he's like, it's a damn shame that I'm out at the store. I'm like, oh, that's Louis Vuitton. That's a Dooney and Burke or whatever, or like we're watching TV shows or like the Housewives, right?
And they're wearing some,
He's like, hey, that's this bag or whatever. And I'm like, he goes, that's a damn shame. Some of these damn bags. He goes, that women carry.
That's funny. That's so funny. Well, you know, you were talking about something. Oh, the lifestyle, because that goes into where kind of at the end of what I have here and wrapping up is that, you know, I had talked about to myself when I was thinking about this is like what are like the considerations that I do, like the bottom line kind of stuff. So I think for homework for y'all or down in the comment boxes, like what are your considerations? So these are some of mine, which are some of the things that they've talked about. Some of them fall kind of in this category, but these are what mine are. So I have like the first thing is that after now purchasing for like over a year, I guess probably 15, 16 months now, I guess, going crazy and everything. It's like, what am I considering now to curate my collection or to purchase things? That prior worked for me before I was sick. I didn't realize going back into things. I mean, I realized it, but I didn't realize it that things were going to have to change because I'm sick. I can't carry certain things. And so things that I loved back when I was buying them, I bought them thinking it was going to work, and it really doesn't work because they're too heavy or, you know, or they're just, you know, awkward size, or they're just too big. You know, they may be light, but they're too big and it hurts my body or what have you. So I have to really bring that to the forefront and think about that. And it's like, do they fit my health lifestyle? Not just my lifestyle in general, because they could fit my lifestyle, but now I have to really think with having RA and having autoimmune disease, does it fit my health lifestyle? Is it something that I'm going to wear, and is it going to be detrimental to my health? And if it is, and I have several bags that I love, but I can't wear.
It hurts.
Exactly. Yeah. How heavy is a bag to start with? Okay. I'm a leather lover. Leather is heavy, you know.
That's why I love canvas so much.
Right.
I feel like I'm a tiny person.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just things get too heavy.
Which is when you add your stuff in it.
Yes. Yeah. Which is why I reluctantly started to look at coated canvas, even like Dooney. I mean, I didn't even want to buy coated canvas from Dooney, but Dooney has like these gorgeous collections. You know, the floral collections. They have different designs, like you know. So there's more advantage of doing those. So that's why I kind of reached into decide if a purchase is for my collection or to be used practically. Okay, so like examples is like, well, yeah, how many quilted tabby wristlets do I really need? Okay.
No, but you do need them. They're different colors.
They're different colors, I know. But at this point,
and
because I say,
reasonable.
I know, at this point I say, I want all the colors. Right. You know, I'll use all the colors. But I do need them. But, you know, realistically, you know, I have all of the colors that are out except for one.
Black.
No, I got the black and gold. I got the black and gold.
You did?
I did. The video hasn't come out.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
The video
that's why
hasn't
I was
come
like,
out. The video hasn't come out.
talking
But
about?
didn't I tell you? I thought I told you. So
I remember.
I don't remember. Maybe I didn't. Sorry.
Okay.
Sorry.
I just know you said
Sneak peek.
Sneak peek. Sneak peek.
Cut it out.
Peek.
Cut it out. Yeah.
But the only one I at this point don't
Cut.
have is
Cut.
cut. Cut.
How did it go?
It.
Oh,
Cut.
it.
It.
No,
No,
it's
that's
out.
out. I don't know what it was.
Cut it
Out.
Something.
I don't know.
Where did that come from?
From Full House.
Jesse,
that's what it
the
is.
blondie guy. Yeah.
And like you said, something like, is it for my collection? Is it
Is it for my collection or is it for use, practical use?
right?
I don't
Because
know.
zone in on that question, because is it because we get caught up with all of
Yeah.
these handbags that are out there? So is it okay? It's cute and I like it, and yes, and a lot of people are starting to reveal it. Oh yeah. But really, is it realistically
Right.
Yes.
good? Is it going to be
And
a
believe me,
realistic
I
good for
thought
me purchase?
About that with the Chanel, the Chanel classic flat, because I do have the minis. Okay, I have
yeah.
two, I don't know, something like two. I don't know. Anyways, and I'm like, is that a perfect? Is that gonna work for me? You know.
Yeah.
But I'm not quite sure. I know I'm gonna love wearing it.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna look pretty.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like, well, maybe the Chanel 19 might work because that's more casual.
More casual.
It's, I don't know. That's why I'm like, I'm not really sure yet.
Yeah.
But
And I'm not opposed to keeping something just for my collection, to have it in my collection. Like, that's why I kept the Coach 33.
Yeah.
Because as
That's a good damn bag.
yeah, as it is right now, the Coach 33, it doesn't work for my health lifestyle
Yeah.
because it doesn't cross body long
Right.
enough to where it doesn't hit me right.
Yeah.
However, when I first got it, I was very disappointed because I was also, that I have to take into consideration is, am I in a flare up? Am I feeling sick? Then that bag, I was ready to get rid of it. It didn't work. When I brought it over here to show y'all, I was much healthier a little bit. You know, I was getting out of the flare up. And it didn't hurt me like it did when I first unboxed it. So I have to make sure that I realize that, okay, it's hurting me right now, so then I need to have a category. These are when I'm sick, I can't use these bags. When I'm sick, these are the bags that I can use,
Sure.
you know, kind of thing. So those are the things I'm trying to think about as I'm curating my collection. So that 33 I've kept, and then there's a couple of the large satchel Doonies, it's not an all-weather leather, but it's a pebble grain leather, and those are heavier than the Florentine. And I was gonna get rid of it. And I thought, you know what? No, I think I'd like to have it just to have it, so that I can have it. It's my collection. I can look at it. Yeah. I can compare
It's a
it.
little nice social piece. Yeah.
You know, I can compare comparison. I can kind of see. You know, it's like I can say, oh, I have one too. You know.
Yeah.
And that is a collection piece. And it's like, and it's okay. If I'm okay with it, then, and you're not, well, I'm sorry, but
bad.
I'm okay
Yeah.
with it. Yeah. Now, when I purchase something, it's not to sell. I always purchase
That's
my
not your
stuff.
intention.
It's not my intention. Everything that I have purchased has been because I want it.
Yes.
Right.
Not because, is it going to get me views? It's because
Yeah.
these are things that
I
I
can
want.
resell it or for
Yeah,
whatever.
no.
Yeah.
So like I did in one of the live sales, I have like 3 or 4 bags. I tested the fact that, like, you know, if anybody's interested in these bags, y'all, you know, they're bags that I'm ready to say that get out of my collection. Well, I haven't posted any pictures or anything because I'm going, oh, I don't, you know, even though they don't work for me, I don't really want to let them go because they're mine, which goes to the last thing is that there, you know, there's 2 last things. The last thing is like, is it emotionally exciting to me? Like, do I see it and it just invokes this, oh wow, is it a wow bag to me?
Yeah.
Or is it a bag that I'm like, well, everybody else is having it and am I gonna get it?
Yeah.
You know, kind of thing. And it has to be something that I'm like, wow, you know, and that's kind of where it is now, is that I'm only want to buy the bags now that are like, wow.
I really want it. This is going to work for me. I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Or regardless if it works for not, it's a wow bag, and does it work for me practically, or does it work for me for my collection?
Yes.
You know, that
Or
kind
does
of
it
thing.
work for me to just sit on the shelf?
Right. Well, see,
Yeah.
and I do have bags that I call art bags that I feel like they're art pieces that I know that I'm never gonna wear them, but I just love looking at them because it's like a sculpture. You know, they look like a sculpture.
That's like my Louis Vuitton watercolor
Oh,
Speedy. So that's like my little. I mean, I have used it here and there, but I don't use it a lot.
Yeah.
But I'll use it here and there. And every time I use it, I'm like, what if I ruin it? You're like, what if I ruin it?
Yeah. That's like my Pulin bag. I have like 2 Pulin bags, but there's one that has like this sculpture, and I probably could use it. It's small, you know, I could use it, but I like looking at it more than I like the idea of using it, because I like to look at the shapes, and I like how they put it together, how they seamed it. I'm like, it's a lot of work. That's a lot of work, and I appreciate that, you know. And then now too, is it for me or is it for a family member? Am I buying it because I want to gift it as a gift for a family member? And then I have to make sure that it's not something that I want that I'm buying for them. It's something that is for them, buying for them. So, Beanbeauties, thank you so much for being here. And this probably was a long video, sorry about that, but that's kind of what our idea is about this, the Tres Amigas Table Talk Thursdays. And we appreciate all your time here with us. And, you know, help us out by letting us know your thoughts, your concerns, your comments, and anything in the future that you'd like us to kind of chit-chat about. Alrighty, so is there anything that y'all want to close and say?
No, I think you said it all. But
Okay.
don't forget to subscribe to us once again.
She's
I do
always
wanna
good at
bring
that.
up. I have to say that all the time.
Yes.
No, but it's true.
It is.
We need.
It's important.
It is important as content creators to grow our channels and to keep
grow,
here.
and it makes us happy, and
It makes you feel like what you're doing is
it's
kind of
important,
worthwhile
and it's
important.
worthwhile, and it is fun. But and then you build relationships, which is cool as well.
Because we enjoy responding to your comments.
We do.
Yeah, so thank you for the feedback, and we've enjoyed reading everybody's responses to this series that we started, and I'm just so glad that Dee Dee and Deline decided to say yes when I asked them to embark on this fun idea. And it's actually been fun, because it's like we get into these conversations just like we're at now. We're getting to these conversations, and it's like, why not just bring you in with us so we can, you can join in and give us your feedback. What are your thoughts? How do you strategize your purchases? Let us know down in the comments, you know, what works best for you. After we've kind of spilled the tea as to how we strategized and all these payments that I didn't even know about, or whatever these other options, you know, let us know what you, how it works for you. If you, put a lot of thought in these, especially like in these things that Dee Dee thinks about when she's strategizing her purchases, what works for you. Let us know down in the comments.
Alrighty, Beanbeauties, thank you again from the bottom of our hearts. Thank you so much for being here. And we want to say
Bye.
bye. Love y'all. Bye-bye.